Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to this card making project. In this project we're going to be making a card using Anna Griffin's Rose collection. It's a new collection and there's some absolutely gorgeous embellishments. So I thought we'll just crack on and get something gorgeous made. I'm going to start off with a card blank, and everything I do use I'll put in the description box below. If you click the words show more, and it'll show you all the details rather than just the first description line. So I'm starting off with my blank card, and as always we're going to do the inside first. Now this is going to be a very simple inside, and I'm starting off with some ivory paper that I've just cut to size and I've added double-sided tape on the back of. So I'm just going to, first of all, I'm going to attach that to the inside, and I'm going to attach it central to our card, and that looks about right to me. So I'm going to press that down, and the next thing I've used is two of the Fretwork dies from Anna Griffin, and it's the Fretwork 2 set, and it's the smallest die in the set. And I've just cut two out again in the ivory paper. And what I thought was, we're just going to, instead of using wet glue, I'm going to use a tape runner just to show you how effective it is and how easy it is to attach them. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on the back of both of the dies. There we go, just at one edge. Give my pad a bit of a wipe, and then I'm not going to worry about the little bits of glue that you might be able to see, because I'm going to cover the actual inside section as well. So I'm just attaching those to both corners like that. And then I've got another piece of ivory paper. When I say paper, it's more of a cross between a paper and a cardstock. It's roughly about a 140 GSM in weight. So it's just a bit heavier than a text weight paper, but it's not as heavy as a cardstock. So I'm just going to pop that central to our card, just covering the edge of the two Fretwork dies that we've added. And that is actually our insert made, and that looks really pretty and really effective. So you can also add your own sentiment, and there's enough room for you to be able to write what you want to say. Now for the front of the card, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just work away from the card base for now. So I've cut out a section of one of the papers from the Rose collection, and this is one of actually the cardstock from the collection, because you get both card and paper in it. So I've cut out a section that will fit the base of our card. Then, using the Fretwork 2 die, what I've done is I've die cut it from a piece of Anna's metallic cardstock, and I've cut the actual cardstock to fit the card base, as you can see, and then I've die cut it using the same die from the Fretwork 2 collection, but I've positioned it on the cardstock and I've die cut it 4 times, and then I've put the die that we've cut back into the aperture that the actual cardstock got when we ran it through the die cutting machine. On the back, now the back doesn't look pretty because I've had to find the spaces where the die actually, where there's no holes, and I've actually added a little bit of tape over it to be able to hold it in position. Now there's quite a lot of places that you can do this and then you can't see it from the front. So that's how I actually cut the die for the card. I've added double-sided tape on the back of the actual die cut aperture, and I'm just going to peel that off, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of tape from my runner just along the edge, just so it attaches again, and I'm just adding it on the blank edges where there's no aperture pieces, and then I'm going to attach it over the top of our card base so that you can just see it underneath, and it comes through the holes where you've die cut like that. Just get rid of that little bit of glue on the edge there. So now you can see the aperture is covered and you've got the cardstock underneath, and you can just see it through the die cut holes. Now I can add that to our card front. So I've got the double-sided tape on the back of the cardstock, and we'll just peel the back off, and I'm going to add this to my card front, making sure it's the right way around. There we go, and that sits nicely on the front. Now, because I'm going to be using quite a few of the different embellishments, some of them I've already added the glue to and the different foam tapes, etc. So I've cut a panel from the rose collection, again from the matching card that we used underneath the aperture, and then a piece of scrap from the black roses that's in the collection, and I'm going to attach that straight across the middle of the card, and it's just going to overlap at both sides a little bit, and then we're going to trim the edges so that we get a nice neat line. So I'll just trim those away. That's one side and the other side. There we go. So next what I've got is a rather odd looking shape. Now this is from the metallic collection, again the same cardstock that I used to cut the actual aperture from, and I've already added 3D foam on the back of it, and it's an odd looking shape because I've got two of the dies that I've already cut, and they are going to sit on my odd looking shape. Again, I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on the back of them, just on one edge, and they're going to sit so the point is at the top of the odd looking shape, like that. There we go. And I'm just going to do the same for the second one. Now obviously the odd looking shape layer, you're not going to tell that it's an odd looking shape when it all comes together. So don't be thinking, oh, you know, it's got to be perfect, because when everything's over and the sentiment, etc., you're not going to be able to tell. So those are our two apertures on our base shape, and I'm just going to add this to the front of the card over the top in the middle, like that, getting it a little bit central. There we go. Then what I've done is taking one of the sentiments from Anna's Artfully Said vellum stickers. I've cut it out and I've matted it onto white card because it's one of the chalkboard stickers, and you want to be able to see the writing through it. And then I've also cut a layer using one of the flip card dies that you get after using the kit. So I'm going to put the sentiment on top of the layer, and I've already got 3D foam on it. So I'm just going to attach the sentiment over the top of our central fretwork dies that we've just put on, like that. So next what I've done is, from the black paper with the roses on, I actually had some scrap left, and I've cut out the roses. Now I'll show you this. I've cut out the roses from the paper because I didn't want to waste them, and I thought it would look really cool if I added them to the front of the card. And I've already got 3D foam on the back of the roses, so I'm just going to position them on the front, and then they'll sit nicely at the sides of our sentiment. And the last thing I've got to finish off the card is a little satin bow, and I'm just literally adding, there we go, my favourite word, literally. I'm literally adding a glue dot to the bow, and I'm going to pop it on the front of the card. Now, you know me, I'm very symmetrical, and it's either there or there, and actually I think on this card it works really well just at the side, so we're going to go with that today, just for something a little bit different. And that is our card finished. So for that we've used the Anna Griffin Rose Designer Collection and the Fretwork 2 dies, little bit of scrap from the collection that we've had left over, and the metallic layers, and we've made a beautiful card, a stand-up card that anybody would love to receive, and it's quick and easy and very effective. And on our card scale, it is a 6x6 card, just so you can sort of see roughly what size it is. So I hope that helps. And that is our card finished. So I do hope you've enjoyed this card making project. Please give me the thumbs up if you have. If you've got any comments, questions, or there's anything you'd like to say or add, please feel free, because I love hearing from you and I reply to everybody. And I just hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you for watching.